Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Today is January 29th, 2024. Right now it's 8:17 a.m. Market's going to open in 13 minutes. A little late to get into the screens here, trying to fire everything up, get it set up. We got some fundamentals coming out this week, which are going to be important. We need to make sure that we keep an eye on. Let's talk first earnings. We're here in our Discord. I posted something about earnings coming up this week. 5 in the Mag 7 are reporting earnings this week. That's going to have a big impact on the NQ in particular. We've got Microsoft coming in tomorrow, Alphabet, Apple, Amazon, Meta. Those guys are all reporting. We also have AMD here coming in. It's like little brother, Qualcomm's coming in. So a lot of tech stocks reporting. I'm probably missing something here, but those are the ones that are just jumping out at me right off the bat. I think Microsoft tomorrow is really going to start things off. Supermicro, SMCI coming out today. That's going to be a big one. That stock has really exploded. So I would definitely take a look at that one as well. So a lot, the earnings are definitely going to impact Nasdaq. Look at NQ or look at Netflix from last week when Netflix came out, how that impacted the NQ, and then Tesla the following day, how that came out, how that impacted the NQ. You want to know what's going on with these. So, let's say it's Wednesday morning and Microsoft reported excellent earnings and Google reported really good earnings, and then that NQ is just running up and you're like, man, what is going on here? What's going on? I think I'm going to short it because I think it's overextended. You're probably not going to short it. You're probably looking to get in and ride that gravy train, keep riding that gravy train up. You know what I mean? So you need to know what's going on in the market. The other thing is we've got a big day on Wednesday, FOMC, interest rate cut decision. The consensus is that they're just going to keep it the same, and my guess is that they're just going to keep it the same. But I think the real kicker on that's going to be the press conference afterwards, and you're really going to want to listen to Jerome Powell, what he's going to say. I think any inclination that they will not cut rates is going to send the markets down. So I think you really want to be careful of that. So I think FOMC comes out at 1:30, and then they hold a press conference after that. So just because it's after 1:30, I would not be like, okay, free and clear, let's start trading again. I think you want to really make sure you're paying attention to that press conference, have it on if you can, on CNBC, and listen to what he's saying. And if you see the markets start really trending in one way or the other, particularly on any inclination that they will not raise interest rates, will not cut interest rates as expected, I think will send the market pretty significantly down. So that's something to keep in mind. The third piece of news is going to be this conflict going on in the Middle East, Iran and the United States. If you're an oil trader, I'm sure you're watching this. I do not trade oil. I have dabbled in the past, but it's not something that I'm actively looking at, nor do I think that I'm really qualified, frankly, to trade it. So, but if you are an oil trader, you want to keep a look at that, and obviously any conflict in the Middle East is going to impact financial markets, whether it's oil or indices futures, or indices. Make sure you kind of know what's going on. I would say that's probably the third priority, if you will, on the list. I think we're looking at earnings, FOMC definitely up there, and then whatever's going on in the Middle East. If this begins to escalate, may begin to bleed over into the markets. That being said, let's start looking at technicals. Let's look at a daily chart. Let's look at a weekly chart because it's Monday morning. Most of you guys know I like these Bollinger Bands. Make me happy. They just give me kind of a landscape or reference to look at. I like using the upper bands, lower bands as price targets. 20 SMA, if we close below it, typically a bearish sign. If we close above it, typically a bullish sign. Excuse me. We're moving up here, obviously. This is a weekly chart. You can see it up here. Moving up. We've got room in the band on the weekly up here. I think we're going to keep trending up. I said it last week. There's really no reason for this thing to come down unless JP on Wednesday tells us they're not going to cut rates. Then that would be a reason for it to come down, particularly if we broke this trend line on some sort of news. And then obviously we've got a big level of support right here that you need to keep in mind. These two levels will probably come together. This 20 SMA here, Bollinger Bands. And when you set up your Bollinger Band, you put like 20 period Bollinger Band. That just means that this middle line is going to be a 20 SMA. If I put a 14 period Bollinger Band, the middle line would be a 14, a simple moving average SMA, and then the upper band's 2 standard deviation away, lower band is 2 standard deviation away. So it's just a simple kind of moving average calculation. But I like to use it just the way that I trade. Lots of people use 200 SMAs. They use moving average crossovers. They use VWAP, standard deviations, all this stuff. This is what I use. I like it. And I find that the NASDAQ reacts well to it. I've said it before, but somebody once asked, I can't remember where it was. It might have been like in a forum or a chat or something. Somebody asked, what's the best moving average you should use? And somebody said, this thing's not moving. Oh, there it goes. Somebody said, whichever one price is reacting to. So for me, price reacts to this one. Anyways, I'm looking at this price, 17,800, opened up to that. 350 points, 450 points, 350 points. No, 450 points. God, my math is wrong. The 800, 18,000, I should say. Screwed me up there. 18,000 is opened. It's opened. I think it's got it in its sight. Again, JP, I think, is the only one. Jerome Powell on Wednesday is the only thing that can really send this thing down. So anyways, that's what we're looking at the weekly. I think we're going to get up there this week or next. So let's look here on the daily. We're in a nice little pullback here on the daily. We can zoom out a bit. Dotted line here is a 200 SMA, pretty standard. Big support zone that we drew out there on the 4 hour. If I draw one of these red lines on one of my charts, they pop up on all over. So we're now moving kind of down our time frames. Zooming in on the market here, we can see that. We can see a nice up channel here. We could probably draw a top of this channel, but that kind of give us reference. 18,000 I think is in its sights. This is a nice little setup here. If you look at this little pullback that it's got going on right here, the break of this line, yesterday's high, Friday's high, I should say, is going to be important. If you get over that, it's probably going to make a pretty good run to the upside. But we need to break the previous day's high here, I think, in order to confirm this pullback. If not, it's probably going to drop down to 20 SMA / this trend line, which we've had 1, 2, 3 touches on already, which kind of confirms its significance. So, I don't know. If we break this down, this descending trend line, I think your target's going to be 17,850-ish before you saw another pullback, or it just screeches up to 18,000. But that would kind of be your signal to go along that this little flag pattern here is completed. You can see that little down channel and this larger up channel. I mean, those are just nice to trade. You find the larger trend and you find a micro counter trend. You wait for that micro counter trend to break. And you go to the upside, or you go in the direction of the larger trend. In this case, it happens to be to the upside. So, I wanted to look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour, moving down. Take that trend line off. We talked about that one last week. On the 4 hour, looking a little rangy. To be honest, we got range coming in down here. Zone down here. See all these touches. I wouldn't be surprised if price pulled back somewhere down here and then tried to make it move up. So 14,750-ish, this zone. This blue box will also show up on all my charts. Somewhere around here, I think is going to be a buy zone for it. You can see this 4 hour candle that just closed 45 minutes ago. This one right here, bearish candle. Couldn't get above that 20 SMA on the 4 hour. Bearish, inverted, hammer, doji thing. I don't know what this is called, but this is just a bearish sign. Price tried to go up. It opened, tried to go up, and then we closed below. We closed near the candle low. That's just bearish. Probably looking at a drop down here, and then it may find support. This would be a significant area of resistance. This is a significant area of resistance, significant area of support. So we have resistance up here, bop. Support down here, bop. May push down here and then get that move up. And then this is obviously resistance up there. Ranging here on the 4 hour. So it'll be interesting to see. I think if you were a scalper, market's going to open in 4 minutes. I'm gonna let the market move around a little bit, although I might take that short trade. if you're a scalper, you're expecting resistance to hit up here, and you probably be taking profit and waiting to see if we can break these levels and start trending up. If it did break out of here, if it did break 17,800, you probably would want to wait for some sort of down structure pullback in order to get in, because this could easily, I suspect, do one of these where it comes up, we break, we wick through, and then we just roll back down. Before it finds support again and then makes another move up. So it would take you out up here, you get trapped up here, and it rolls down, you're like, God damn it. And then it just goes right in your direction per usual. So I want to be careful of that, but this does obviously look rangy. We can try to move down to an hourly. So it's hourly. One thing I'm noticing on this hourly, these are weekly volume profiles, and you can see here I've got these blue boxes that I just drew over there on the 4 hour. These are big, support and resistance levels. As you begin to move down your time frames, you can see how large these zones are. Actually, I mean, this is a 70 point zone up here. So micros on something like that if you're a range trader. You can see this low volume node that formed down here. That's providing support. To be honest, it started generating last night, Sunday night. I don't give a lot of value to this LVN. It's not during a U.S. session. Volume's low, so I'm not really paying much attention to that. I look more at the weekly volume profile as the week goes on. It'll be really, I think, Thursday, Friday. The volume profile this week is going to really come into play. Right now, I'm not looking at too much. That being said, you can see how it's providing support. I mean, you can see over here how it provided support on these little candles. 17,500. You could look at this drop here if we broke, 20. If you're looking just for a scalp on the open, I would say this is probably going to be it. It's 20, 22, 23 down to 500. You just front run the bottom of the band here. 500 is a big psych number. You get out like 508. It might be 10 points you could take just as a scalp off the bat. Nothing really to write home about. And then really looking at market internals, looking at order flow if it decides to move down here that we talked about before. Monday morning's kind of tricky. Again, it's going to be a big earnings season or big earnings week. Lots of news coming out this week. Maybe some choppiness until we get FOMC, until we get all that stuff out of the way, and then maybe the market's really going to move. So we're going to let the market open, let it move around a bit. It's going to open here in about 18 seconds. I'm going to go fill up my coffee mug and come back and take a look and find a good setup. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. So, man, this thing is not really providing me much to work with here. We're in this, you can look over here on the 1 minute chart. We're in this we are in a down channel on the bottom of the channel. We've actually broke through the bottom end of it. We've come down now to this big support zone, which we drew out in pre-market, which is kind of its first level of support. Here on the 1 hour, you can see it, and we're just kind of bouncing off of it. It looks like we're going to break through. Look at Delta down here. That's a bad drawing. That's a bad circle, sorry. Delta down here, moving lower. Maybe we get through that and we drop. We continue to drop. I'm looking at time and sales, looking at, advanced decline, line, that stuff. I don't know. You're kind of short in the bottom here of the day. I think that's the smartest move. I don't know if we're going to get like a real strong move to the downside or not. I really need to see it break through this and, give me some indication that we're going to test 500. But right now we're bouncing off of it. And I don't really want to, short the bottom here, and it just reverses up on me. One thing you could do is wait for this down channel to break and try to buy it to the upside, or you wait for this level down here, this level here, which is the same line, this red line and that red line. To move, maybe we wait for an overbought situation. Williams percent becomes overbought, and we come up and retest this area in an overbought situation, and you try to take it short from up there, expecting a short scalp, basically. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see here. Much action going on. I'm a little hesitant because of all the earnings and everything, and FOMC on Wednesday, which I think is going to really move things for us. I don't know. So I just want to kind of jump on here, give you an update of what I'm seeing. If you're ever in doubt in the market and trying to figure something out, just drawing some trend lines can help. Sometimes you'll just take, the two lowest points, the two highest points, or if you can try to find a channel or something. Right now, it seems like, we're in this down channel, but if I come over here to the 5-minute, we're, ranging basically, we're at the bottom here, top up here. See what it wants to do here in this little pullback. Retracement. I don't know. You're supposed to call one of them something. Like, I think if it's in a downtrend, you're supposed to call it a retracement. If it's in an uptrend, it's a pullback. I don't know. I don't know what the terminology is. Now we're pushing down again, like the 1 minute. Breaking over here on the 500 volume. Still, it's just down here at the support area. And it just looks like we're ranging. I don't want to talk myself out of every trade, but I got to be honest with myself of what's going on. You're either taking a short here, taking it back down to 28, which is just a scalp. Bottom of the band here, 27.28. We could take a stab at that, I guess. Or you're going long above 50, 52. See if that develops. Right, it's trying to move itself up here. This is a 2,000 volume chart. Here's a 500 volume chart. That move above 52, we break through that, we move back up. It's just a V bottom. Try to take profit up at the top of the band here. Or on the 1 minute, I'm sorry. You can see advanced decline here. Advanced decline line starting to look more bullish, but we're still negative. We gap down in advanced decline. Oh, that's not saying much because whatever. It's starting to look bullish. See what it wants to do, right? Yeah. Moment of truth. If we got above this 20 SMA and close, you could try to take try to take a shot at a long and put your stop somewhere down here. It wicks through that 20 SMA. Conviction in it. I got my finger on the trigger though. Maybe take a long. Yeah, I think we're gonna jump in on this. That looks pretty bullish. Moving up. Try to get a pullback here, maybe. And your stop's gonna be like at 44. Delta's moving up. Try to take a stab at a long here. Big profit's going to be up here at the top of the band on the 1 minute, so that's fine. Let's see what happens. I like Delta's making bullish structure. Probably been watching this too long, but we're going to have a go. I like how we closed above that 20 SMA. All right, let's see what happens with this. All right, I closed out there. Only 160 bucks. Damn it, I should have held it. That's gonna pop here, isn't it? May get back in on one contract if I can get a decent price. Just take one here. Probably too aggressive on that. Going on 3. Back up to that 68 where we originally had it. Yeah, I should have held that larger one there, but it made me a little nervous when I saw these bands kind of consolidating. We got this bearish 1 minute. I was just like, you're probably in too much size on that. Maybe now we're coming up to 74. Yeah, we would have been okay on that trade. You can just see the structure, bearish down channel, clear bearish down channel, breaking out to the upside on it. This second ad here was pretty bad. I was obviously chasing. I thought it was going to pop. This third ad was way better. Back near this supporting trend line. A much better ad for me. This first one kind of screwed with me. But whatever. I mean, it was a win. Win's a win. I think it's now overextended. I think we may just start ranging. To be honest, I don't think we're going to get a lot of movement out of this today. I also saw 9,000 shares come through over here on time and sales, like 9,500 and something. And then another like 2,500 red sells. And I was like, maybe we're going to get a move down. You got to be careful of that, though. You can talk yourself out of winning trades really easily. I remember when I first started trading, somebody didn't talk to me. I watched a YouTube video. So let's just be clear about that. It was a YouTube video. So take that with a grain of salt. But somebody said, the market's moved by greed and fear. And I was just like, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. The markets obviously are run by indicators and triangles on your chart. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But try to notice, try to notice when you're trading, this is fear. This is fear. This is fear and greed mixed in. This is fear of taking a big loss down here and greed of having a green trade, even if it's just a couple $100, right? That is greed and fear. I should, hold on to this a little bit longer, try to keep that thing moving up, maybe add on these little pullbacks. Because if it was going in the opposite direction, how many times have you added to a loser hoping that it goes your way, right? And those turn out to be just account blowups, 100%. Like 80% of the time you start adding to those losers. That's fear. That's fear of taking a loss, and you don't want to take a loss. So I do agree with greed and fear, and that is completely between your head, between your ears, inside your head, and that's all inside of you, trading psychology. So always something to be, I think, mindful of. Meditation helps with that a lot. If you're new to the channel, or if you've been on the channel for a while, I'm big into meditation. I've been doing it for, 5-6 years now. And just being very mindful of like your own thoughts, what's going on inside your head, and observing those and being aware of them. Pushing up to 72 probably. I don't know. I may just call it a day. It's 9:18. I don't like any of this price action. I think this all sucks. Tomorrow's going to suck even worse, so be careful tomorrow. Now it looks like it may want to roll, before FOMC. So I don't know. Maybe there's a trade set up later. Maybe not. But I think I'm gonna take a break for a while. Sign off. You guys take care. Thanks a lot for tuning in, for watching. I don't know. Best of luck, and hopefully I will see you back here on the channel tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.